Hi, I'm Donna Savage, and I'm here along with Javier Garza. We are co-chairs of the University Planning Council, and we wanted to take some time to update the campus with the work that we've conducted so far on the new University Strategic Plan for 2016 to 2020. It's been a little bit over a year, I think, since Dr. DiTavio challenged us to commence with some intelligent tinkering. Over the last year, much has been accomplished. Some of these activities, like developing a timeline, environmental scans, they're well documented on the UPC website. Last fall, we had about 500 folks involved in the process, particularly in the activities organized to engage the campus and other stakeholder groups in the strategic planning conversation. This stakeholder data was used as building blocks for last month's President's Planning Retreat, where over a course of a day and a half, members of the University Planning Council, the Planning Task Force, campus leadership, and representatives from the faculty and the staff met. With the benefit of a facilitator, the group worked to make sense out of pages and pages of stakeholder data. What emerged were 4 imperatives, or what I would think of as big strategic goals. The first one, managed growth. 2, academic excellence. 3, student success. And finally, something we're calling community, connection, collaboration. In addition, there were 3 other areas that emerged as supportive of the goals I just listed. Those are branding, communication, and partnerships. These goals will serve as a foundation for moving into the next and the most important phase for developing our new plan. This spring will commence the next 100 Days campaign. The campaign will provide multiple opportunities to participate in activities that lead to the completion of our strategic plan. The first of these activities is already underway, and in fact about to wrap up. The campus-wide survey was distributed last month. That survey asked you to think about and illustrate what does a premier student-focused university look like? How will we inspire discovery, leadership, and service? Your responses to these questions are already helping us determine what Tarleton should look like in 2020. The next 100 Days campaign will also include a series of meetings and activities to discuss each of the big 4 goal areas. These open sessions will help us realize our vision with a look to the future and development of initiatives to get us to our 2020 goals.
One of the most striking things that we've noticed, and we're not necessarily surprised by it, it's very heartening, is the extent to which the campus community has been so demonstrative of their commitment to the institution and the love that our stakeholders have for this campus. Our stakeholders have demonstrated a genuine willingness to be open and honest about their ideas. I guess if there's been anything that's been kind of gratifying about it is that they've been very willing to share their appreciation for being asked the questions that we've been asking them and for soliciting their feedback. Another very important piece to our progress over the last year has been the Cabinet's commitment to the entire process, and in particular their commitment to a very strong and genuine effort to engage the stakeholders. Dr. DiTavio and his Cabinet have been most supportive of the transparent and inclusive planning process. There have been several aspects of the President's Cabinet that have just been really important to the process. Among them is their demonstration of trust in the campus community and the recognition that the stakeholders have something important to say and to contribute. They have been very clear about their interest in engaging parents, students, alumni, just a sort of a broad array of those who have a genuine interest in the future of this university. In addition, what's important, I think, to facilitate buy-in to this process is their support of a transparent and inclusive process. And an indication of the commitment on the council's part to that is the extent to which we've been posting every activity and the results and trying to close the loop of every activity that's been conducted by the council. Certainly another important party in the development of the plan has been the collective membership of the University Planning Council and the Planning Task Force. The council has been instrumental, key in developing, among other things, an internal and external scan in surveying the landscape of higher education. We could not have engaged all of the stakeholders for the feedback that we've collected were it not for the work that many of the council and task force members have committed to the data collection process. Another key piece in this process has been Dr. Pat Sanahan, who was an external consultant. He's provided important direction to us and provided some instruction on how we can collect large amounts of data, feedback, and go through a process of prioritizing that information, making sense of it, and closing the loop and sharing that information with the campus communities. Among those important key elements in the process has been the idea of organizational trust. And I think one of the things we've learned throughout this is that, the willingness of a stakeholder to come to the table and to share their ideas depends a lot on an issue of trust. The idea that whatever they share, the ideas that they share will be considered, will be sort of woven into the feedback process, that our collective voice is in the end going to be what brings us to a successful and useful strategic plan over the next 5 years. One of the things that we need to stay mindful of is that we need to be staying true to the vision that's been established, that Tarleton strives to be the premier student-focused university in Texas. We need to make sure that the plan allows and includes some elements that are aspirational, bold, and stretching. And we've got to have a plan that is designed in such a way that it can be well implemented. We will have some town halls, some open forums to get feedback on preliminary versions of the plan. An important part of the evaluation of any draft is going to be the extent to which it resonates positively with the campus community. Realistically, it's important to realize that you are going to see something in the strategic plan draft that you don't think belongs in there, or you're going to recognize something that you think should be in there. But what's important about how this process has played out to this point is that everything that's in there comes from a collective sentiment from others on campus. We want this to be representative of the stakeholders, the stakeholder body's sentiments. And most importantly, above all else, we want it to be in the best interest of our students. If you hear about a town hall, or if you hear about a forum or whatever, and you're not sure you want to come because you've been to one before and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be or whatever, well, this one might not be either. But we can guarantee one thing, that your voice will be heard. It may not lead to an end that you're seeking, but that's because there are a lot of voices being heard. I guess the point is that the fact that we're sort of trying to build consensus shouldn't dissuade anybody from participating in the process.
It has truly been a privilege for me to serve as co-chair with him in this process. And while we do have a lot of work in front of us, I am heartened by the transparency, the engagement, the excitement of those that have been participating in the process to this point, in where we've gotten so far, and how much, and the look ahead.